All right, welcome back. This is the halfway point of the season, War 6. We've matched TCN, and my team is going to be Nimrod, Hulkling, and Titania. We all do things we're not proud of sometimes. This was an interesting war. It was the end of Memorial Day weekend. Things were relatively busy, and my fights are not going to actually take place until about midnight last night. This first fight here, White Mag's going to be taking it with Nimrod. It's a relatively simple, straightforward fight. Nimrod can't have his ability accuracy reduced by mutants, so it's pretty much just stay in orange mode and move his prowess, and then get to special 2, and the fight's over. So yesterday, finished up Memorial Day weekend with the family. Drove about probably 2.5-3 hours in total over the course of the day after going for a hike in the morning. Got back to my house around 3 p.m. yesterday, and I was pretty exhausted. Like, we stayed at a nice inn on the beach, but the beds absolutely sucked. So none of us got good sleep over the course of the weekend, and by the time Monday rolled around, pretty exhausting. So I ended up falling asleep last night somewhere around 8:39 and waking up close to midnight, and I was gonna go back to bed, but Fur ended up rallying everyone and getting everyone to move, so much appreciated, Fur. My first fight here with Titania is going to be this Mangog, and so I've never used her before in high tier war. I think I used her in GT39 a couple times. And my initial impression of her was that I did not like her. And even after using her today, I still don't necessarily like her. And so I understand her kit as far as being buff immune. That part is good. And the stagger from heavy attacks, that is also good. It's not necessarily going to be useful in every fight, but I used it in this one, and it helped me. It really did. I could probably tell you more of what I don't like at the moment. I feel like most of her buffs are kind of useless, just because they do not last very long. So I feel like when they designed her, they just put or debuffs, not buffs. Most of her debuffs are relatively useless, and they just kind of designed it so that she applies them in order to speed up her haymaker, but realistically, they don't necessarily help you in any other way more than that, in my opinion, except for maybe the stagger. And I feel like that's kind of a flaw in her kit. And then I'd say the second aspect of it would be her dashback is relatively shallow for a champion. And I tend to have problems when they do that with champs, when they make their dashbacks shorter than you're used to, or shorter than others. I feel like if you're fighting in the game and all characters are on an equal basis as far as parry distance, dashbacks, I feel like that's how it should be realistically. I mean, I know it's not, because we had all those parry issues and dex issues for a long time, and that had to do very much so with spacing, at least in terms of when we had the parry issues. If you were trying to parry an extra large champ, the window was a lot smaller than when you were trying to parry like a small or a medium-sized champ. But anyway, it ends up being a long fight, but I got it done. Next up here is Kitty. I'm going to be taking her with Nimrod, and I actually completely forgot that she was tactic. I know that she has a little green thing on her label, but I was half asleep taking these fights. Realistically, I probably should not have been fighting, but I kind of had to, because otherwise I would have been holding my entire battle group up, because I have to take the Idoom after her. So just get to your special 2 in this fight. It doesn't matter if she throws a special. The one special, the shocks from her, is not going to kill you. Next up here, I got this Idoom. Going to be taking him with Hulkling. And so Burden of Might is going to lower my power rate, right? But I can't be power drained because Hulkling is immune to that, so I don't have to worry about losing my power on this node. And as I was talking to Alvar about it, and he was like, Hulkling's shock immune, and if you happen to get hit, you're just going to regen and you can't have your power drain. He was like, it's literally impossible to die here. And I was like, oh, you make some strong points right there. It made me feel a lot better about the fight because I had never done it before. So right here, I'm just waiting out his aura because I know he'll resist the last hit, building up my Pierce into unblockable, launch the special 2, and I probably could have gone for a special 3 here, but I felt like just hitting him normal, I felt like it would have been a little faster. I didn't feel like his special 3 deals enough damage to finish him off there, so I just went with the regular hits. And then next up here, I have this WeaponX on 53, going to be taking him with Nimrod, so I put Suicides back on, and as things were unfolding, I wasn't sure if S3 was going to get cleared, so I messaged Fur, and I asked him if Egg or Kills could take this WeaponX, because they also had Nimrod. But then, after I asked him, and he said he would mention it to Kills, I went back into the game, and I saw that things were actually clearing, so I was like, oh, fuck it. I was like, water's going to clear node 50, and then I'm going to have access to it, so I'll just do it tonight, because I wasn't sure if it was going to be like another half hour, and I had to go back to bed. But I saw things cleared up, so I put Suicides on, and I went for it, and then Kills messaged me, and he was like, I already swapped to Suicides. I was like, fuck, man, I'm sorry. So I am going to make a mistake in this fight. I'm going to launch my special when I think I'm going to have a special 2, and Polka Dot Power isn't quite going to get me there yet. Right here. Right as I launch the special, I fill up my next bar power. It's probably like a half a second difference in when I thought it was going to be as to when it actually was. So this fight's going to end up being done with hits entirely until there's like 5% left, and then I'm actually going to get to a special 2, get caught on a dash back here, bait out the heavy, go into the combo straight into special 2, and the fight's over. But I mean, it didn't matter at that point. I could have just finished it with hits if I wanted to. And then last up here, I have the boss fight, and I'm going to be taking this R4 Mojo. Thank God he was R4, by the way, with Titania. So Cap Communist is my buddy and alliance mate, and he's been helping me learn her, and he helped me a lot with using her in this war. So thank you very much, Cap. I appreciate that. I went into this fight with a game plan, and very quickly at the start of it, I kind of abandoned it a little bit. Originally, I wanted to use her heavies a lot more, weave them in to keep the buffs off of him so that I could prevent opportunists from getting crazy and out of control. But once I was in the fight, I just realized that I wasn't comfortable enough with her spacings yet to try and work those in safely, and I didn't want to take chances. She comes across as a very aggressive playstyle, which I am not used to, so naturally it's not in my wheelhouse to play aggressive, because normally I play S99, and he's a very defensive, laid-back, just very control of the fight kind of character, and she certainly commands control of the fight with her haymakers, but you also have to play very aggressive to keep them coming back consistently and quickly, and I do believe that you need the dupe. It would make things a lot faster in regards to that. So pretty quickly into this fight, I decided that I was just going to play it as safely as possible. And my only goal was to not die and not time out. So that is what I'm going for here. I'm going to stick to special 1s and special 2s, and I'm just going to try to make it out of the fight. Her dash back is also going to come into play in this one. I'm going to get hit by 2 different special 1s. One of them, I got caught in the middle of it, and I don't know. I have issues with that. It might have been here. No, it's coming up soon, though. And then another one, the lunge on his first hit of the special 1 seemed like it traveled an extraordinary extra distance to make contact with me before I could even actually go for a dex, even though I'm pretty sure I knew it was coming, and I went for it anyway, but it still made contact with me. That might be coming up soon as well. I think it's going to be relatively soon after this range of haymakers goes through. Yeah, right here. So I knew that was coming, and that traveled an extraordinary distance, but it didn't kill me, so that's all that matters. And I am going to solo this fight, It is going to take a pretty long time, though. And realistically, I would not want to use her again in War, but I do have a feeling that I probably am going to, unfortunately. So I am going to have to get better with her, but I'm going to let this one finish out, and I will come back when it is finished. So after a long Labor Day weekend, both sides had a kind of a rough war. Luckily for us, TCN had a little bit more of a rough war than we did, but we ended up winning 150-5 to 150-9. I'm not sure if we're actually going to rematch TCN this season. We might, but it all depends on win-loss by the end of the season, because they will be War 12 if we do rematch them. So good luck to TCN for the rest of their season. And luckily we made it out of this one alive still. And yeah, I look forward to see what the last half of the season brings. So it's all she wrote. Thank you very much for watching.